I wasn't supposed to be home until Sunday. That was the plan. My flight from Seattle to Houston was scheduled for the weekend, and I'd already told my neighbors, paused my mail delivery, and set up my smart security system to auto-monitor everything. But things wrapped up early. Too early. Friday morning, I was already boarding an earlier flight. I thought it would be a fun surprise. Come home, grab lunch at my favorite taco truck, maybe even take a long nap in my own bed. But what I found wasn't home. As the Uber pulled into my street, I noticed it right away, a white Lexus SUV in my driveway. I asked the driver to stop. "That your ride?" he asked. "No," I replied slowly. "That's my house." He raised an eyebrow but said nothing. I got out. The SUV had tinted windows and California plates. Okay, strange. Maybe someone was visiting? But the porch had new plants, different from the ones I left. The curtains inside were drawn. I never kept them closed. And then I noticed something chilling. The smart doorbell camera I installed was gone. Just a bare screw hole. I walked up cautiously. Tried my key. It didn't fit, no joke. My house key didn't work. I tried the code panel next to the door. The system responded, "Access denied." Code changed. My palms were sweating now. I stepped back and called my friend Alex, who lived 2 blocks away. "Bro," I said, "someone's in my house." "What, like broke in?" "No, like living in it." Alex came rushing over within 10 minutes. He stood next to me on the sidewalk and said, "You sure you're not at the wrong house?" I shot him a look. "Really?" Then, just as I was about to knock, the door opened, and a woman, maybe mid-40s, clean blouse, high ponytail, makeup on point, looked out. "Can I help you?" she asked, holding a steaming mug of coffee. I froze. Alex leaned in. Yeah, this is his house." She raised an eyebrow. "I think there's been a mistake. I moved in 2 weeks ago." 2 weeks? I own this house. I held up my ID, my address printed clearly on it. "I've lived here for 6 years." She sipped her coffee calmly. "Sir, I don't know what kind of scam you're trying to pull, but I went through a real agency. I have a lease. I pay rent." I wanted to scream. I called the police. Officers arrived, 2 of them. Cool-headed, patient, they listened. She calmly handed over a printed lease, document from a company called Southview Property Management. It looked official. I showed them my documents, deed papers, utility bills, even a photo of my dog in the kitchen. The cops talked among themselves for several minutes. Then one of them came to me and said, "Look, sir, we believe you, but this appears to be a civil matter. You'll have to go through the courts." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "You're telling me someone's living in my house with fake papers, and I can't go in?" "We're sorry. We can't remove her without a court order." That night, I slept on Alex's couch. I called my lawyer, Amanda, first thing the next morning. She was furious and fast. Within hours, she filed an emergency injunction to verify my ownership and block any transfer or sale. Meanwhile, I started digging. I searched the name of the rental agency, Southview Property Management. There was no website, no contact number, just a P.O. box address listed online. I went through old emails and noticed a strange message in my spam folder from a week earlier. It was from someone claiming to be a tenant, requesting maintenance support for a unit in my building. I didn't own any building, just my house. Weird. I checked the security footage saved on the cloud. A week ago, around 4 a.m., the footage showed 2 men dressed like movers, removing the doorbell camera. That was the last recording. Whoever they were, they knew what they were doing. Alex suggested we talk to Mr. Levinson, the elderly man across the street who always sat by his window. He told us everything. "Yeah," he said. "She moved in with 2 men and a U-Haul truck. Thought you'd rented the place out. They brought boxes, furniture, even a TV. I gave all this to Amanda. She filed an additional police report, and this time they took it seriously. 3 days later, I was contacted by a local news station. Apparently, someone from the precinct tipped them off. They wanted to run a segment on home theft and identity fraud. I agreed. It aired the next night. Me, standing on the sidewalk, talking about how my own house had been taken from me. It exploded online. People were outraged. I started receiving emails from strangers who had similar things happen. Turns out, it's more common than you think. A week later, we got a court hearing. The woman showed up, this time with a public defender. She claimed she was scammed and had no idea I was the real owner. The judge didn't buy it, especially after Amanda presented proof that she had used fake documents and signed under an alias. She was ordered to vacate the house within 48 hours, but she didn't. When I showed up on the third day, the place was trashed. Walls spray-painted, windows broken, furniture destroyed, kitchen flooded. My childhood photo albums torn up and left in the bathroom. She was gone, but not far. Police found her a week later, trying to rent another property under a different name. Turns out she'd done this 5 times in 3 states. This time she was charged. Fraud, trespassing, identity theft. As for me, it took almost $22,000 to repair the damage. Insurance covered some of it. Most I paid out of pocket, but I got my house back. Now I have motion-activated floodlights, a second layer of locks, internal cameras, and daily alerts. But what really changed was me. I stopped believing that a deed, a key, and a mortgage made a home yours. Because all it takes is one piece of paper, one confident lie, and one stranger, and suddenly your whole life can feel like it's no longer yours. So next time someone says, "That could never happen to me," I just smile and say, "Neither did I." But the story didn't end there. 6 months later, I got a call from Amanda. "Are you sitting down?" she asked. I laughed. "What now?" "The agency she used?" "It was a shell company. And guess what? Your name was used to register 3 more properties in Illinois." My heart dropped. That's when I learned the truth. My identity had been compromised. Not just stolen. Used, replicated, multiplied. A year-long investigation uncovered a ring of fake rental agents, document forgers, and squatters who used identity theft to steal homes. Mine was one of dozens. The FBI got involved. I had to fly to Chicago to testify. I saw others, people like me. Teachers, nurses, retirees, all tricked by the same crew. Eventually, they were arrested. The woman from my house? Her name wasn't even real. She'd had 5 aliases, served time under 2 different names. The mastermind? A former paralegal who knew just enough about legal loopholes to manipulate the system. They were all sentenced. And me? I started volunteering, helping others facing housing fraud. I gave talks, shared my story, helped change a law in Texas that now requires physical verification before lease transfers. So yeah, I came home early, and it changed everything. But in the end, I took my life back. Not just my house, my peace, my trust, my power. And if you're watching this, wondering if it could happen to you, don't wait until it does, because it only takes one moment, one lie, one knock at your own front door to realize you're the stranger now. But you don't have to be the victim. You can fight. And you can win, just like I did.